talking together about what you have reflect and well, you have developed your own SWOT, but this is not just for going in detailing these SWOTs that should be uploaded to the Google Classroom, but just to comment on those things that you, when you all have reviewed all the materials and so on, you have thought that would be something interesting for implementing in your institutions, for instance, and which are these challenges or opportunities or the things that should be developed. And so it's just a reflection for establishing like a kind of roadmap for the future, because we are just at the beginning of the project. So these two first seminars and the third one is just to establish this basis, and then is to start the work to be done. So thank you very much for your participation, for the past follow-up session we had. That was quite interesting to me. And now I will give the floor for one member of each team of each institution. So I have the list here. We can follow this list that is in the Google Drive. For instance, we can start by TSU, but wherever you prefer. So if there is someone that wants to, because I don't know exactly the names of the institutions, that's difficult to me. So yeah.
Actually, we will be very brief because we developed together this document, and we've been like talking in this document about the challenges that our institutions. At our first session, we like created a context about the Georgian like reality, how it goes, and etc. However, we also have some like good news that here and there we have like good examples. So in our presentation, which will be shared for everybody, is like a detailed explanation of everything. So we could probably go through it just very briefly, because we don't want to take much of time. However, that's the like SWOT analysis based on our current situation, and we will be talking about on behalf of Tbilisi State University. However, we are representing two different faculties, faculty of psychology and educational sciences, and also faculty of the I don't remember the name exactly, how it's the natural sciences, the faculty of natural sciences, who those faculties are mainly involved in the digital teaching and the digital like creation of the context. And also we involved in a team, our central quality assurance team, who is responsible for the all issues like teaching or learning process issues, quality assurance of this process. So if you go, Tina, to the next slide, please. We'll be talking about it, and I cannot move the slides, and if you could move it, would be.
I already shared. Can you see?
Yeah, but it's not moving. I cannot move the slide.
It's not moving, but I moved, but okay.
If you could reshare it, and then
you can, maybe you can also
try
put it
again
in
to share it.
Yeah. So with the strengths,
okay,
if we start with the strengths, like we are like the biggest institution. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So you all know that we are biggest institution, and we have like almost 27,000 students, and we have like online platforms, and mainly we're using Moodle with the LMS platform, which was used before COVID, but during the COVID time we improved it. And we have here in some of the slides, you might see the red points, and that means that these projects or ideas are under the like negotiation, and we cannot say exact deadlines because there are like different stakeholders involved. However, this is in a like agenda of our institution to proceed with it. So we have the didactical experience at faculty levels, at different faculties are approaching with different like teaching and learning methods. However, our faculty is taking lead on it. And yeah, we have like a growing interest in innovation, which means that we are offering like modern teaching methods, hybrid approaches, and redesigning curriculum all the time. And also we are getting ready for our legal changes, which means that we could be possibly like having online teaching, like a solid component of our programs. Tina, if you could go to the next slide, please. Yeah, weaknesses. We could like talk about weaknesses much more. However, we'll be focusing on the digitalization itself, like the equipment and LMS utilization, and also the competency of the different stakeholders, which needs to be improved, both from administrative, academic, and students' perspective. We do have support from the central IT department. However, we think that we need to have some kind of different specialists who will be eagering to help professors and also like share the best practices, how to create this or that kind of content. If you go to a next slide, Tina, please.
I will
Yeah.
open this list as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So here is the list of the projects which in where Tbilisi State University is involved. We have a couple of projects there, and we want to mention the project Desire and also project CIF, which is Competition Innovation Fund, and which is more focused on computer science, led by computer science department, and it's about the e-learning and how we could improve our infrastructure and software itself, and equip like staff with the knowledge how to use like digital materials. That's the project, what it's about. And about the Desire project, this is like a soft skills development, and we within this soft skills development, which is like our faculty of psychology and education sciences is involved in the project, that we are creating so-called laboratory, and with the help of the project we're equipping this laboratory, and we'll be sharing this space with the young researchers and professors who are willing to create first of all the digital materials, but also we'll be focusing on the soft skills development and innovation and entrepreneurship aspects. Tina, if you could go briefly to the next slide. We are not mentioning here like how to say short-term courses which are also offered, and here and there the best practices. Like we focused on like main topics, because those every topic can be like different subject of the discussion in depth.
Next.
Yes. So here is also the threats, which is very much linked to the on the one hand to legal perspective, and on another hand awareness of the participants. For instance, the data safety and security is an issue, how we are dealing with this, and how we are like protecting our information with the confidentiality and safety and all the things. So these are, we think these are threats, and we need to improve our knowledge and also the infrastructure in this regards. And also the adaptability to the reality, and also the resilience, not resilience, but resistance or increasing awareness in the participant. This is also one of the topic of the issue. And I would not say that this is only TSU's problem, but generally brain drain and young generations who will be staying at the university like full time. This is also one of the issues, and probably this like leaking of the brains. So to say, you're not willing to working full time at the university, that might be also threats which needs to be improved. Tina, if you go to the next slide, please.
Please.
Yeah, here are the roadmap of the kind of activities, which we said that it's in our general agenda. However, we could not take responsibility only from our perspective. Right now, we are talking to the different stakeholders, and here are like these question marks when it will be established. For instance, this digital education governance unit. This is in the agenda, but we do not know and we cannot commit on it. However, this is like part of our action plan at university level, like define digital governance and quality policies, which are also like in a process of doing this, launching pilot blended and online courses, which is also like currently working but needs to be improved, and etc., etc. So those are like mainly the observation of the activities which we're planning in this study year and the next study year as well, till 2028, when our project will be up and running. Next slide.
Rosa. Well, sorry.
Yeah, and here is also
This is the last slide.
Yeah, this is the last slide, and yeah, thank you for the listening to us. That was more than like a 5 minutes. Sorry for this, but we will be like willing to share this information with everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much to the team of the TCSU and Russo. I think it's a very nice overview. That was what we were asking from you for this presentation. And well, I agree. Maybe the clearer picture is that there is an institutional strategy, a need of institutional strategy. And that's what we also were talking about when in the follow-up session. So it's not something regarding someone or this team that wants to do that, but to convince the whole institution that there is a need for this institutional strategy and the development of these units that will give support for that, for the training units, the IT. So yeah, trying to work together. And I think you have lots of opportunities, as you have said, because that's why digital education is so powerful, and that's the I mean the objective, to see this in this seminar and in general in the project. And maybe one thing I would say is, and it's very much related to the next training seminar, is this in regard that all these things should be very much aligned with quality standards within your institution.
Yeah.
Unless they are, that would be very nice also, a national umbrella for that. So yeah, well, this is a roadmap. So
yeah,
relations. Yeah. So my thank you, Russo. Next one would be, I say it in English as I say the as I see the acronym ILIA Uni. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. I will share the screen, and just a second. I hope you see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is actually the file, the document that we have prepared. The whole document that we submitted. We haven't prepared the PowerPoint presentations, but I will briefly just present the outcomes or to summarize it. So in our team, we had 5 staff members from Ilias State University. So we followed the instruction provided from your side and tried to briefly analyze or address all the questions and topics that we are listed here. So as a general, so in one way, so some of our challenges and threats and best practices is something a bit similar to Tbilisi State University, but I will just highlight what is unique in our case, if there is such. Yeah. So when it comes to strengths, so we wanted to mention that although the university is quite young, but we have a quite good experience in managing blended learning courses, as the local legislation didn't allow us to have fully online courses. So blended method was something that was promoted among faculty members even before the pandemic. So the pandemic, or this time, somehow strengthen the practice a bit. So saying that, we had some group of the faculty members who are well equipped with these methods and techniques, and we have it at the university. Besides, like, there are some software or the technologies that exist at the university on its way, like the study information system, learning management tools, that our teachers and administration of the university are using in order to track the students' learning outcomes. But at the same time, the quality assurance office is using that instruments to track the quality of the student learning outcomes. And this is also something that we think that worth mentioning when it comes to strengths. But in addition to this, like when it comes to inclusion, inclusivity, and internationalization, so we mentioned that we do offer some English language taught programs. And besides, we are having international students for degree programs, as well as those who are making mobilities, and this somehow supports the processes locally at the university. But then the weaknesses are more like detailed here. So although we do have that kind of experience, still there is a big gap in digital and inclusive education infrastructure, and not only in infrastructure, but as well as the willingness among the faculty members to change the traditional way of teaching and to start using the some of the tools in order to diversify their teaching methods. Some of the faculty members, they don't wish to change the way they are doing it for years. Some of them but some of them wish, but they couldn't find proper support from the university side. So saying that within the university, although there is this, we call it like Teachers Professional Development Center, that has formally like the trainings in different learning methods, including those like blended methods and flipped classroom and many other. But still, this is not enough, because the faculty members cannot get support, like individual support on these tasks and guidings. So currently, we don't have any special department unit at the university level, structure-wise, that actually is providing that support to faculty members. Here also, we mentioned that there is nothing about the AI-driven systems and the analytics that the university is doing, although, like, according to the requirements of the quality assurance measures, and the administrative staff is preparing those reports on the program side, on the program level, course level, but all these are done manually by the people and not within the system. Or
So we are experiencing some technical issues related to the internet and trying to fix it.
Okay, thank you. In general, I would say, as Giga was speaking, that it is, something that is very consistent is this need of training units. This is in parallel to the infrastructure, but of course you need to go through all your academic staff to first engage them in this transition to digital learning, and then to training, because if not, they are going to feel they are lost, or they are not going to make a fruitful use of all the possibilities. Also, something interesting he was speaking is about this exploring new things that is not just the traditional, let's say, online learning, but this of open education, which has a lot of good things that can be based on open educational resources, and this of micro-credentials too. But also to be efficient, as it was mentioned in the paper, the micro-credentials the university has are not very well adjusted to the market.
Sorry for the technical error. Unfortunately, it happened to me.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so sorry for that. So I will quickly summarize it. So I was mentioning that yeah, the AI is not introduced on the university level not in any task or any level. Also in the weakness, we put that the majority of the study programs are delivered into Georgian language, and somehow it is not that we don't have that much in terms of integrating migrants. For example, we had a discussion within the group. So what the university offered those who came from the Ukraine as immigrants in the countries, what was the offering? We do have some cases of the students on the PhD level who were integrated in the study programs, but there was only a few cases, and on the system level still it didn't have much effect. As for the opportunities, yeah, we see that as for the micro-credentials, and this is something that is explained in the text, and I'm afraid that, or I'm sure that the rest of the universities share the same thoughts, that we don't have any measures on the country level so far. So to my knowledge, none of the universities offer that kind of programs. So what we have is a certification programs, we call it in this way. Some of them, some of the certification programs are really advanced or the demanded one, like the one that we have on the level of Child Development Institute. They offer quite a good quality of these certification programs. They are not called as a micro-credential programs. We don't have that measures yet. So this can be an opportunity that the university can lead to, in addition to integrating the AI in data collecting and analyzing, and also the introducing the online learning of distance education, as currently the legislation has been changed. And yes, just I will add a couple of sentences only. Yeah, speaking about the threats from our SWOT analysis. So I just wanted to, besides what has already been mentioned, so we saw from the perspective of state university, because we are a state university, sometimes the budget is a problematic, because state universities are not that, let's say we are kind of short in a budget, so sometimes universities' ability to invest in the digital tools is something that we can't do that much. And also to invest in the staff training a lot. So additionally, like this, although these micro-credentials might be beneficial, but it also creates a threat in the terms that the competitors nowadays exist not only in Georgia, but outside of the country, all over the world. So if we get back to the budget, the only source of income for the universities are the students who are paying tuition fees, and those students, it might happen that we will lose some of the number, or we are losing some number of the students because they will find some good programs abroad. And this is also, the threat might be that this is something that Rus also mentioned, that a lot of the majority or some part of the young generation are living of the country, going abroad, doing their master studies or even bachelor studies abroad. And finally, one of the biggest threat might be the political instability. Also, this is in line with the changing the decision makers or policy makers on the ministry level. Sometimes it causes changes into strategy of the education. So it happens quite often. That's why, we are not sure what will be in 6 months' time or 1 year, after the 1 year. So it might happen that some changes might happen, and the new policymakers, decision makers will come, and they would bring new ideas. So there is kind of instability in this direction as well, which might be a threat, seen as a threat as well. So that's all that I wanted to add. Sorry again for the technical issue. I'm using EduRoam. It shouldn't have that problem, but yeah, it did. So.
Thank you very much. So I would give the floor to the CU is Caucasus?
Yes, we are here, and we will be two presenting. So I will start with introductions, and then my colleague would continue. She just joined. Just a second. I'm doing because of challenges with quality of internet connectivity, which is one of the technical problem. They switch to the new presenter. So if that's fine. Should I start or should we let Ilya State finish?
Okay.
Giga,
Okay.
if we have Giga here, I think not yet. So I think that's all you could.
Okay, sorry, I will just yeah. So we little bit structured our slides differently. Just me a second. Do you see my slides?
Yes.
Yeah. So we started by putting a little bit more attention to opportunity as a starting point. Yeah, so we initially structured our slide of opportunities, and specifically point is that before you can do any productions, you need to identify opportunities. I cannot move the slide, sorry, there is a technical problem with...
Is that me or I don't hear you anymore?
Well, he's not speaking right now, right?
I'm speaking, do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So,
I see slides, but I cannot move it. Sorry for that.
Mariam, David, we could share the screen.
Yeah, please, if you can do, because we don't have good internet as well here. So, and that's frankly one of the major challenges. I turned off the screen. Yeah. So, as I mentioned before, Mariam would put slides. I will not waste time. So, there are few opportunities which can be followed by our university or any other university, and one of that is specifically targeting minority groups, and those minority groups are ones not speaking Georgian, not speaking English, and even not speaking Russian language. And in my opinion, we don't have much space to work with refugees or others you referenced in your content before, but targeting Armenian and Azeri minorities might be one of the big advantage under the digital trainings, specifically when it comes to the next level of digital education by using artificial intelligence. So another subgroup, of course, is young people living in smaller cities and villages, which are not able to attend trainings in big cities. And this group is not huge, but I think there is a space to engage them in education. Of course, there is a good opportunity to engage immigrants who are leaving country, who left, or who has kids already born outside Georgia, but who are willing to study specific topics in local language, whether it would be Georgian language, whether it would be history, whether it would be mathematics, because sometimes they need to be able to hear specifically some content in the local language. And of course, there is international students who are willing to come to the Georgia. They don't have time to attend all semesters. And of course, for them, being able to attend some of the content online would be a great opportunity. So that's one group. And another subgroup is integrating digital solutions within current programs. And yesterday we had a quite good conversation about possibility of doing the online quizzes or tests, which is like one of the major bottleneck still, or doing the video content and sharing that to students. So there is a quite big opportunities within ongoing programs to be able to improve. So next slide, I am trying to put slides, but I cannot.
The same problem is here, unfortunately. We don't have proper internet and it is not moving. But we could share the presentation later on, David, if you could go with the talks and...
Yes. So, and of course, we spoke about threats, and then Nino would speak about opportunities and not opportunities, threats and weaknesses. But so it was referenced by some of the colleagues that currently legislation is not flexible and is not fully letting online education to be well introduced within the formal training programs like masters or bachelors. So I know there is a currently discussion, and I think there is a space for us to support and to lobby, but not doing this on time might be a threat, partly because international programs are stealing quite good students offering similar type of programs outside Georgia, whether it would be US in other locations. So I think Georgian government and our cluster should lobby for that change to happen, which technically might bring opportunities as well as threats, because there might be a possibility for cheaper solutions be able to offer the training. So there might be more competition because of that change, which might happen in next future. And of course, in my opinion, I just edited that slide, Irina, yesterday. The introduction of digital solutions probably would decrease costs, not at the beginning, but on a later stage, but also might decrease profits, because I assume expectation is that digital or online programs should cost less than physical ones. But that's, in my opinion, might be a little bit part of the threat. So that's from my side. I think, Nino, now it's your time.
Mr. David, can you continue my part also, because I'm outside on the way because of traffic jam, so please, if you can. And
okay.
If needed, I will be at 10.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So that's about strengths and weaknesses. I think we have similar strengths and probably similar weaknesses as two presentations we heard. Of course, at the university, and maybe only one difference is we are a commercial or private university, unlike other two presenters, and there might be some specificities because of that, but we think we have strong reputation and little bit good infrastructure, some experience with digital learning because of COVID, motivated staff. Most of them are young, whether it would be professors or administrative staff, international environment, and I think all of us here have more and more international students, which creates more diversity possibilities, and have done some initial steps in digital learning, and our training center has some experience and might be one of the first pilots to implement. And of course, we have content which can be digitalized, and this would be in any school we own. When it comes to the weaknesses, again, it's lack of structure and strategy, which I think is one of the first steps for any us to work. Technical barriers, whether it would be internally or outside when it comes to the specific segments, because like people who have money, they also have frequently strong digital skills. But when it comes to the minorities or vulnerable or people with disabilities, they might have challenges, whether it would be equipment or knowledge how to use those equipment. So faculty preparedness, there is a need to conduct capacity development. There is limited lifelong learning programs available in our university. And of course, as I mentioned, accessibility gaps. So technically we have good coverage of internet, but as you see, problems are also not infrequent. So we have last slide, and sorry for not being able to share. And it's one of the reality sometimes we are facing, but we will put in the folder. So we also have thought about milestones or digital action plan. And of course, we need to think and develop a strategy at the beginning. And probably university will form small digital team and identify initial few success cases and win cases where we will be putting more energy, and then try to implement whatever we will develop there, like partnerships, develop accessibility platforms. We need to probably develop some tools internally or procure when it comes to the, for example, again, to doing quizzes online, because we can do it, but it's not big enough or good enough. Building lifelong learning place, train teachers regularly, and improve access to all. So that's all from our side. And again, sorry for technical challenges. Thank you.
David, thank you to the Caucasus team, university team, and just to very brief ideas, because I mean you share many things, all these institutions. Just a comment on you said to give possibilities to young people living in remote places to access university. But again, think about this idea we have mentioned in our experience is working with adult people. I mean, and not just people between 18 and 25, and maybe there are many other adults over 25 years old, for instance, that may like to get access to the university, and we have to give them opportunity. And of course, under this lifelong learning perspective. So that's one of the points. And yeah, well, we are not going to take more time for that. I don't know if Giga.
Yeah, and just to put response to that one, I forgot to mention one of the good opportunities targeting small businesses, and that group of people might be part of that who need some specific training or some consulting service. So that might be another good opportunity to contribute to development in our rural areas. Thank you.
This is something, you know, that with micro-credentials, for instance, one of the things is to work very closely with stakeholders, for instance. So not just to be a full program developed by the university, but by the university in contact or with business companies and other stakeholders, for instance, that might you know, give their experience and the specific needs they think they are useful for upgrading skills and things like that. So it's like a change in this way of opening the university to the society.
Yes. So Tel Aviv State University is here, and if you let me, I will make a short presentation about SWOT analysis. First, I will share the screen.
Meanwhile, I would stress something. You both comment on budget. So on the one hand, let's say that, digital education on the one hand can be scalable and in this sense kind of cheaper. But on the other hand, it needs fundings for a good IT structure and to maintain that. So, and this is money too. So I mean, digital education requires also investments, and in this sense, the public university needs from the government, and the private ones require from the students and the registration they have. So, but it's not this idea, only this idea that is cheaper just like that, because it requires other things also. Yeah, go on, please.
Can you see and hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And let me introduce our SWOT analysis from the perspective of Tel Aviv State University. 4 group members that are involved, which are involved in the project, have worked on the SWOT analysis. One member was the head of quality assurance service. Another one was IT office, head of IT office, and 2 were academics. We have worked on strengths, and some of the strengths have been already mentioned, but I will speak about it as briefly as possible. We think that we will have expanded student body. Expansion of the university student body. In expansion of the university student body, we mean that individuals with disabilities, imprisoned students, and students from mountainous regions, and etc., will also have chance to take education, digital education. We think that we will have increased number of so it will increase students' attendance in lectures. Financial accessibility will also increase. It will be increased, and here we mean that this living cost will not be as high as in case of face-to-face teaching. And it will also, the strength of this type of digital education is cost reduction. In the cost reduction, we mean that reduction of the university's financial expenditures, for example, on central heating or on the electricity and so on and so forth. The weaknesses of digital education from the academic concerns is that we think that it will there will be potential lack of academic integrity. Here we mean that some kind of cheating will take place because during the COVID-19 period, when we have experience of online teaching, we faced this type of problem. We think that the readiness of academic staff is also the weak side of digital education, limited technical competence among senior academic personnel, because our IT office often helped them during COVID-19, and possible decrease in student engagement during lectures. We have experience when we had online teaching. Students were turned, were on their accounts, but in fact they were doing something else. So it was a really great problem. And what concerns to technical and social challenges, we think that lack of appropriate technology for socially vulnerable students. Here we mean that digital education requires technology, so it won't be, they won't be able to buy them. And reduced opportunities for face-to-face communication for ethnic minorities. Here we mean that face-to-face communication somehow promotes development of language skills, and it will decrease this face-to-face communication for ethnic minorities. And we have Azerian students and Armenian students at the university, and challenges in monitoring the examination process. As I said, it was very difficult to monitor the examination process, and we faced some challenges during this process. Opportunities of Tel Aviv State University is that what concerns to existing infrastructure, the existing technical infrastructure meets the needs of e-learning and provides opportunities for further development. And we also have special dedicated facilities. I mean, the university has designated rooms for recording and editing online lectures. As for threats, here you see the threats, that is technical failure that we face today as well, cyber security risks. We think that IT service says that it might be, we might face some kind of cybersecurity risks, and social limitations, reduced socialization. Here we mean that students will not be involved in social events as frequently as they are during face-to-face teaching. And they will have inability to experience student life. And however, we think that we should move forward with online education, and the university must address these challenges, including the potential lack of academic integrity, limited technical competence among senior academic personnel, and insufficient infrastructure, while leveraging strengths such as expanded student access and financial efficiency. That was all for today. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer you. Here are also our key questions that we that we think that it will be a good to get answers during our visit in Madrid. So this presentation is uploaded in the classroom, and you can see it.
Thank you very much, Anna, and I hope really that when you all come to Madrid, we will be able to discuss a lot of things, and you can see things hands-on and how we work. Just a comment in the sense of what you talk about the disengagement of students. That's for sure that online learning requires, and we have talked about that in the seminar. It requires what we call self-regulated learning and more autonomous characteristics, in the sense that to self-organize and to plan things and so on to keep on. But let me just make clear that what happened during the COVID pandemic, having young students that normally go to classes, attending lectures online in Zoom or whatever other platform, is not online education. Right? So we can have this kind of experience we're having now, and that's for sure. And I think it's something we have developed in the past years, and even more after the pandemic, that we are more used to have synchronous sessions. And I think that's great, but mostly online education is asynchronous. So think about the difference between young students between, as I said before, 18 and 25 years old, that his or her life is going and attending lectures in a building with their mates and the teachers and so on. That's on the one hand. And on the other hand is these people that are working or living in remote places, that maybe they are in their 30s, in our case, in UNED, but they can be also young people that they work, but they want to have a university degree, so they cannot be attending lectures. So that's the relevance of how to prepare to design a good online or blended program in which activities are very clear, materials are very good, what the student have to go through, it's very well structured. So students, what they do is to work normally alone in an autonomous way when they can. I mean, finishing their work, they come home, they connect, they study their materials and so on. And you have to create an atmosphere of collaboration and interactivity in the platform, and mainly through forums and communication ways that are not synchronous. Because of that, because of the flexibility. So it's like a change in mind in this sense. So it's not remote emergency Zoom classrooms. It's other thing, just to get as much people involved in higher education in a flexible way. And of course, there is higher rates of dropout, that's for sure, because people sometimes when they are working, they cannot go through all the requirements of the course. But we managed to get thousands of adults have a university degree because of distance education or digital education. So that was just this change. And regarding the quality assurance of online examinations, of course, this is something we are all working. As I mentioned, in UNED, we still have final exams on site, right? Because we have these distributed local centers in which students go there. You will know and more about that when you come to Madrid. But we have continuous assessment that is more online. And of course, we have to keep on moving with this issue of the reliability of this assessment. And even more now, we have the problem with the artificial intelligence, that's for sure. So this is a common problem for everyone. Okay, so let's move to, thank you very much, Anna, and let's move to the next one. Well, as you prefer. I mean, who is next? Because I have a message from, let's see, I have in my forum, Goria State University, that they need to be the last one. So
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We represent Sanchez-Elvira State University, and on this SWOT analysis, we have worked together, our team members from the Quality Assurance Office and from the Learning Management System Office. I will try to be really brief for the presentation. Zugdidi University is the only higher educational institution in San Miguel Upper Suneti region in the western part of Georgia, and this university implements bachelor and master degree programs. And university holds special significance, political significance, and a strategic mission. About 1,000 students get education, and most of them, about 50% of the students, are from the occupied territory of Abkhazia, occupied by Russia, and many of them mostly have to cross the occupation line to attend the lectures, and sometimes they have to risk their lives to attend the lectures. And in addition to IDP status students, the university also serves students from socially vulnerable groups who face financial challenges in getting the education. And taking all of this into consideration, offering digital education could be a desirable alternative for students. And while we were working on this SWOT analysis, we really conducted a short survey using the learning management system, and about 70% of the students who participated in this survey, they say that they would like to get higher digital education, and as an alternative, of course, they like this idea. Currently, our teaching model, of course, we have traditional lectures, but also there are some cases when the lecturers conducting the lectures and most students are on site, but some students join online, and like a hybrid mode of teaching is also offered at our university. In our SWOT analysis, we identified 8 key points. This is exam process, adult students, disabled students, support services for IDP students, LL Center, MOOCs, digital competencies, and internationalization at home. And for each point, we have defined the strengths of our university. Regarding the exam process, we think that we have the experience of using model system for the exam process for conducting the exams. However, this was just a pilot version for conducting exams, and the assessment system and the examination process through the model platform are not yet fully implemented at the institutional level. The second one is adult students. In recent years, there has been a noticeable trend of increasing student age, and the age of students. I don't know exact number of them, but they are students with the age of 30, more over the 30. They enrolled in both bachelor and master programs, and it should be also highlighted that the engagement in the learning process and academic performance is high. The fourth one is support services for students, generally for students, but especially for IDP students. University campus buildings and dormitory are adapted for persons with disabilities. I speak about disabled students. The campus and dormitory are adapted for people and for students with disabilities. And as part of an EU-funded international project, a braille printer and special headphones we purchased for students with visual and hearing impairments. Support services for IDP students. For IDP students, integration at the beginning of the academic year and at the beginning of their studies have some challenges, particularly due to the language barriers, because when they get education, general education on the occupied territory, they are taught in Russian, not in Georgian, not in the native language, and that's why they have some barriers when they start getting higher education, and communication with peers is also hindered. However, within the university environment, and you know that we are small university, especially with the administrative and academic staff actively support the smooth integration through various types of meetings, including meeting with the rector or administrative and academic staff or student self-government bodies and youth clubs. The fifth point is LLL Center at the university, again, within EU-funded project. Lifelong Learning Center was established several years ago, and it offers training courses to the students. And some of these LLL courses we also elaborated within EU-funded project. However, these courses don't grant students academic credits, and the level of interest remains lower than expected. Regarding the MOOCs, again, under EU-funded projects, some MOOCs were developed, and it's available for students at Zuglidi University, and these MOOCs were in veterinary medicine, and these MOOCs are in Georgian language, and they are available for students. However, these courses also grant only certificates and not credits, and again, the interest is lower than expected. The seventh point is digital competence. University management bodies and university supports the retraining of its staff in the 21st century skills, and several significant trainings have been conducted by experienced experts, and these results are more or less evident during the teaching and learning process monitoring, when we are conducting the monitoring of the teaching process. But it's also noteworthy that universities' management bodies support affiliated professors and affiliated staff financially for participation in training programs aimed at their professional development. And the last one is internationalization at home. And we think that internationalization in general is one of our strengths. And virtual mobility, we have already launched in 2023. Now we have one ongoing program, and about 50 students have already taken part in this virtual mobility. And also in our training materials we had co-type projects, and we have the experience of conducting such kind of project with the University of Pennsylvania, USA, and we are very proud to have this project. Now I will speak about the weaknesses about these 8 topics. Exam process. Here we have the lack of sufficient competence of staff to conduct digital examinations, and this process also requires additional human resources and staff training. Adult students, and we have student support services, but these support services don't explicitly include special assistance for adult learners, and they should be taken into consideration for the future. And disabled students, I mentioned that our infrastructure is more or less adapted for them, but it's not, of course, fully adapted, especially for students who have some hearing or visual impairments. Support services for IDP students. Here we have the lack of awareness among students in general regarding the specific needs of IDPs and the importance of appropriate attitudes toward them. LLL Center, as I already mentioned, these courses, LLL courses, don't grant academic credits, and only certificates are issued, and this is one of the weaknesses, we think. Regarding the MOOCs, again, they don't provide academic credits. And in general, we think that the awareness of the benefits of MOOCs is low, and that's why we consider it as our weakness. Digital competence, there are generational gaps and language barriers for the academic staff, and internationalization at home. Not all the students who are interested in general in this mobility or in virtual mobility, they don't have sufficient language competencies, and this is also the weakness. Now I will speak about the opportunities regarding the exam process. More effective use of the model system is possible, and we can also use an alternative system for the better results. Regarding the adult students, university could conduct more campaigns to attract adult students. This is opportunity for us. And regarding the disabled students, it's possible to acquire services or platforms that provide the necessary tools for students with disabilities, support services, development of LMOOCs to improve the language competencies of IDP students. This term LMOOCs, I have just heard from the videos, and yes, LMOOCs can be used for improving their language competencies. LLL courses can be developed that will be more in demand, including internationally, as well as courses that promote the development of digital skills. Through the LLL courses to be taught how to develop their digital skills. And MOOCs, it's an opportunity within EU-funded projects that more and more projects provide the opportunity to develop MOOCs, and I can say that all the projects, all the ongoing projects include developing MOOCs in different fields and different directions. Regarding the digital competence, we think that strengthening cooperation with local and international institutions that will support the enhancement of digital competencies of university staff, and as an opportunity and internationalization at home, we think that we have the opportunity and resources to promote virtual mobility and internationalization in general, and university staff and students can benefit from the services of the Foreign Language Center. In this case, if they are interested, Foreign Language Center is ready to support them and help them to develop their language competencies. And we should also mention that Foreign Language Center was also established within EU-funded project, and we consider it as an opportunity to have stronger support for COIL-type projects. And the last one is about the risks regarding the exam process, the risk of conducting the exam process ineffectively. This can be a threat for this process. Adult students, there is a danger that students may not complete their studies due to various hindering factors, including work or family responsibilities. And regarding disabled students, I think that lack of staff who are experienced in using platforms or devices necessary for students with disabilities, this is one of the threats, and or stigma, lack of awareness about the effectiveness of inclusion. The next one is support services for IDP students. Language barriers hinder integration and represent an obstacle for them. LLL Center, high competition in the field of existing LLL courses, although Georgian language courses still have an advantage in the local context, of course. In MOOCs, we think that not risk, but a lot of interest in MOOCs and a misjudgment of the benefits, and we need more and raising awareness about the benefits of MOOCs, as I have already mentioned. Regarding digital competence, in a fast-paced world, training may become outdated by the time it is implemented, and also insufficient readiness and willingness for staff retraining due to the workload. And the last one is the threats regarding the internationalization at home. Low interest in virtual mobility, despite its contribution to reducing the carbon footprint and its alignment with Sustainable Development Goals 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 17. And preference is still given to physical mobility because in-person communication, interaction, and cultural activities are an essential part of the mobility experience. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nadia, for detailed analysis and reflections that I think is what we call food for thought, a lot of things, and very concrete ones in which areas you can start working, and very much aligned with all the things we have talked about. Very interesting. I would say that just very brief comments, for instance, that this of the examination, of course, through online platforms is an issue, as I commented before, that is relevant. When you came here, we will talk also about how we did on the one hand during the pandemic, because we didn't use the regular learning platform we had. We developed a specific one for examinations. We can talk about that because it was the very much designed for the characteristics of our on-site exams, moving towards only online. And well, I'm not going to talk about this here, but I think it's something we can talk when you come here. And regarding, of course, this issue of MOOCs, you know, that is something that the UNESCO started and the MIT to promote this idea of open educational resources. Finally, they became MOOCs, I mean courses, but you can have thousands of courses. Some of them are not with quality enough. And the interest of that sometimes can have different perspectives. You can use them just to give an overview of what your university is. I mean, to offer things that maybe then people would like to join your university, for instance. Sometimes they can be used as an internal way of offering students some courses for giving them, or teachers for giving them support in some issues. For instance, when they enter the university with low level, for instance, of mathematics or things like that, so leveling courses. But on the other hand, it's just a way of working under a lifelong perspective again. And of course, it's not formal certification, because this is not online education such as that formal one. It's like a non-formal way of giving education resources to everyone that wants, not just in your country, but everywhere else. I don't know where your MOOCs are placed. So this is like an international door or window. So everyone in the world can go there and see what it is for them. So it's like another perspective of what we can do as universities. And they are not intending to be, although they are named massive, they can get many people involved, but most of them don't finish. They just look and so on. So it's like, I would say it's another way of delivering educational resources, but not official ones. And each institution needs to know why they want MOOCs for, if they are interested enough or not. So yeah, well, I mean, as I said, there are a lot of things to think about and to establish a roadmap and things that would be of interest for your institution and in general to share with all during, as we are going to do during the project. So thank you, Nadia, and your team for the work. And yeah.
I can be next one.
Okay, great. Go on. Floor is yours. Which institution is yours?
Sanchez-Elvira State University.
Okay. Thank you.
So I will offer briefly overview of SWOT analysis this time. Let's talk about strengths. We include infrastructure as our strength: digitalized classrooms, conference halls, laboratories, digital library, modularly flexible platform for learning process. Also IT support and involvement of our university in the national projects like this one we are participating right now. So let's move weaknesses. There's a lot of things to consider here. Infrastructure and technical limitations. Yeah, I mentioned this as strength, but there's a really tiny line here because poor internet connectivity, many regional areas may lack high-speed internet and making online education difficult for students and also for staff. Limited access to devices. Students and faculty may not have personal computers, tablets or smartphones necessary for digital learning. Also, financial constraints can be included, like high implementation costs. Setting up e-learning platforms and buying softwares and upgrading infrastructure requires significant investment, like all the time. Maintenance expenses can be also included, like regular updates, server maintenance, and cybersecurity measures add to a long-term costs. Also, student financial barriers. Some students may struggle to afford necessary technology, like laptops, internet subscriptions, other technologies. Human resources like faculty reluctant professors and instructors may resist adopting digital tools due to lack of familiarity or skepticism about effectiveness of digital education. Also, student adaptation can be an issue. Some students may struggle with self-discipline and motivation in digital learning environments, and lack of qualified IT support staff. Yes, I mentioned IT supports above, but the Higher Education Institute requires interest of sufficiently retrained IT staff in order to cope with the technology and the operational challenges that undermine the effectiveness of security of digital education systems. This can prevent preventing institutions from providing a seamless, efficient, and safe learning environments. So opportunities is like this project, PRODIGE, and this is our one of the biggest opportunity. Also, legal framework, government regulations and policies are opportunity to develop digital education system and include it in our programs. Implementation of a high quality research and educational programs by digital education is also a big opportunity for us. Increasing number of students like disabled students and who can't physically attend lectures can increase the numbers of students, and that's our opportunities too. Strengthening the internationalization process with educational programs, promoting in the internationalization process in research activities, and also creating more mechanisms for attracting international students also. So threats can be cybersecurity attacks, malicious and software and viruses like hacking and data breaches. Cyber criminals can target educational institutes, online platforms to steal sensitive information, like such as students' personal data, academic records, and financial data. Such attacks can compromise privacy and trust in digital education systems. Malware is also a big problem. Schools and universities are often targeted by malwares that can disrupt or damage the digital education systems, compromise student data, or disable online platforms entirely. The spread of malware can lead to significant downtime for educational institutes. Also, poor and expensive internet infrastructure, limited access to high-speed internet in some regions, especially rural or underserved areas. Students may not have access to reliable, high-speed internet and high costs on internet provision, making it difficult for them to participate in digital education. So political and legal factors can also be threats, like government censorship, like blocking some kind of digital platforms, certain websites or educational platforms which can limit the resources available for digital education. And also lack of regulatory frameworks, inefficient laws or regulations to ensure data privacy, security, ethical use of technology in education, and non-recognition of the digital education by state or globally. I think that's all I wanted to mention this time.
Thank you correctly. I think again you show common problems. I think this of the to have the internet connectivity, of course, in the country, I think it's very important, and to be able people to get a device in which they can connect, although with mobile phones everyone can connect to a platform. But I think this is something important, and also to take into account that these user support units for technical issues, I think this is something very important. For instance, in my university, we do have the possibility to call by phone between 8 in the morning until 8 in the afternoon if we have any technical problem, and to be solved because we have technologies in which the technical support unit can have the image and control our computer to solve that. So all these things make people feel comfortable if they, even students, I mean, if they have a problem, that they will be these problems will be fixed and they will receive support. So all that claims for this institutional strategy, in investment in infrastructure and support units. So this is something also to take into account, and I think it's very important. I know that all of you are very worried also about cybersecurity issues. I think also this is important. Maybe when you come here, we have some also experts that can, if you are interested in, maybe you can get more information and talk to them about these issues, because I think it's also relevant. Yeah.
I'll be presenting institutional SWOT analysis on behalf of Gori State University. So initially to say that developing the institutional strategies for inclusive and international digital education involves aligning the institutional alignment with digital transformation, with inclusion, accessibility, and of course, last but not least, the internationalization goals. As for the institutional strategies, we have actually identified 6 strategies at this point. The first is the digital infrastructure development, first and foremost. The second one is inclusive digital access. In this regard, we as an institution should provide students with subsidized access to devices, develop assistive technologies for students with disabilities, and ensure that Georgian language and minority languages are supported in those e-platforms. The third one is developing digital literacy and capacity building. In this regard, we should pay particular attention to continuous training for faculty and administrative staff, digital skills courses and certification programs for students, peer-to-peer learning and mentoring program development as well. The fourth one is international online collaboration. For example, in this regard, what we are actually doing is we are inviting international lecturers to teach online modules for our students. What we could also potentially do is develop joint online courses, collaborative online international learning. Yeah, digital Erasmus also is a wonderful opportunity and perspective for us in that regard. As for the fifth strategies, this one refers to the development of the open educational resources and content development, of course. Develop and promote open access Georgian language, and not only Georgian language, of course, English language courses as well. Partner with other universities to co-create multilingual resources, and last but not least, with the development of AI, use the AI and adaptive learning tools to personalize education. And last but not least, the sixth strategy is monitoring ethics and data security. In order for us to assess these needs, of course. In the next slide, we have brought the SWOT analysis of Gori State University. So when we're talking about the strengths, the internal strength, we should outline committed leadership to internationalization, emerging cooperation with the institutions, faculty motivated to engage in digital teaching. As for the internal weaknesses, we should admit that we have limited ICT infrastructure, especially in rural campuses. For example, Gori State University is a regional university, and we should admit that we have specific problems in that regard. Faculty digital skills are uneven. We have limited Georgian language OERs, open educational resources, and budget constraints, as most of our know, it is also university. The existing budget constraints limit to start this rapid digital transition. As for the opportunities, we see European universities' openness to virtual mobility as an opportunity. Also, Erasmus Plus Digital Education Action Plan is viewed from our point as an opportunity. And last is national strategy supporting digital education and rural access. And as for the threats, we have identified three existing threats. The first one is digital divide among students between urban and rural. Social equality is also a problem. Brain drain of digitally skilled faculty and students, especially that problem especially exists for the regional universities such as Gori State University, and competition from other educational providers could also be viewed as a potential threat. In the next slides, we basically outlined the importance for inclusive and international digital education for Gori State University, and we outlined the following important messages. So to say, the first one is to position GSU as a regionally and globally competitive university. The second one is ensuring equal access for all students. The third one is improving, of course, educational quality and innovation. The fourth important message is expanding international collaboration without high costs. That will be outlined. And last but not least is better employability for students, graduates, which of course leads to regional development, which is also a thing that is embedded in the mission of Gori State University to focus on the regional development. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, again, I think many common things. This of connectivity in rural areas, I think it's something, of course, to be working with the government. So yeah, because if not, well, let me tell you in the sense that distance education, I will come back again to my university. It started becoming not in the beginning was not digital. Of course, we started in 1972. And until 2000, we could deliver distance education without technologies. I mean, we had, of course, video or television or radio, and in the time cassettes and so on. So, but what we had is very good learning resources such as books that were distributed, of course, and these local centers. So it was another way of doing things that could support these people in remote places without technology. But now we are in a digital world. So let's see that this is our roadmap. And so I think it's been a very interesting session. And maybe we can all agree that first we, in the country, you need a ministry, a governmental a strategy that and regulation for making digital education really something that is official and is recognized. And this is something very, very relevant. And this is combined with the next seminar with this issue of quality. Because when you start, as this is your case, developing digital or distance education, it should be done with quality. Quality enough, because then if it is not well structured in this sense, afterwards the opinion of people about this kind of education would be that is not good enough and so on. So it is something very relevant to start doing things under a regulatory framework and under a quality standard framework, and both external and internal. And then, of course, that your institutions should have a strategy. So also with all these things you have done, and they are very clear and very good, and to start working, I mean, step by step, of course, but choosing which are your main interests. But of course, there is a need also of an international, institutional strategy, and to create the units of support that you need. So this strategy becomes aligned with a good IT unit, with a good, in some universities you already have that, a good training, staff training unit, good student support services all together. And this is how you can go through a top-down perspective on the one hand, and also a bottom-up, because you need also to get your academic staff engaged and your students. Someone also said, and it was very interesting, regarding this survey being done to students, asking them if they were interested in online education. And so you will find, of course, that many of them will be interested in these more flexible programs, and not only your students, but as I said before, many more people that would come to your universities, because you offer them a flexible pathway for getting a university degree or a micro-credential or something like that when they need it. So I think we have a clear roadmap, and I would just ask you, did you feel working together, these teams that you have created? Also, some of you have mentioned these different profiles that I think are interesting in the sense of starting to talk and to work within your own institutions. So I would suggest just to keep these teams working together and trying to get more people involved with these different perspectives of quality, internationalization, ITs, and so on. Because if you create this team, I think you can have more efficient way of working. So I think that's all from my side, and I congratulate all of you for the work being done. I hope it has been useful. I mean, thinking in the future and in the next steps. And just I would say, did you find it easy to work in your teams? Did you meet online? Did you meet on site? Both? So how did you feel like continuous working within your teams instead of just being alone? Yeah, David.
Yeah, I think I don't know about others, but we have done online meeting. together was much more easier because we had a different context. Yeah, I think it was good exercise, and probably we should stay in touch because that's something good, and it would make Georgia more competitive if all of us would have stronger digital solutions, not only targeting local kind of segments, but also outside. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Someone else wants to intervene?
I would like to say for comments, suggestions, descriptions, and we met online. Of course, it's much more convenient it was much more convenient for our group to meet online and discuss all these issues. Thank you once again, Ms. Ángeles.
Thank you, Anna. I think, yes, we are in the beginning of the journey, so we will have a lot of opportunities of trying to work together all on the journey also, and you to have more strong teams in your universities.
Yes, right.
Yeah, Levin. We actually regroup. Google Doc are, yeah. And also this issue of asking your students is, I think it's a good idea too. Irma, please.
Yes, just very small comment. I think this was a really very good exercise, and having the trainings this way so that it is targeted and we know what is the outcome at the end of each training is really a very good point. When we had this first meeting at Caucasus University, the first training, actually we have seen how general approaches to digital education in general could take place. And now this one was more targeted towards the strategic development, which definitely will be then reflected in the bigger strategy of the university. And at the same time, having these trainings in raw concerning the methodology, the strategy, the quality, and many other aspects of digital education will definitely make impact. And what I would like to say, it is very good that we had these synchronous and asynchronous meetings, because I have experienced in another project that we only have these synchronous materials, and not always you see that the result is there once the process is over and once the training is over. So I think this was a very good exercise. Thank you very much, Ángeles, for this. And everybody presenting today, we have seen that there are common challenges, common perspectives and opportunities. But just one more comment. Everyone was talking about infrastructure and digital infrastructure and the resources, and that's true. Online education could be cheap if it is done well and then sold well. But before it is done well, you definitely need a lot of resources. I have seen just a couple of weeks ago, Russo and me, we are at Malmö University, and we have seen a huge team of the support team to support the digital education at Malmö University in Sweden, and there were approximately 30 persons who helped the teachers to really design a very good online course and support with some digital materials and many other points. So to have that permanent team, very skillful, that is huge resource, definitely. And once you have it, then you could talk about many points. So that was my final comments. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Emma, for all your comments and well, your constructive also ideas always. And I would say that yeah, it should be again in a strategy, because the point is not to start, for instance, buying technological issues. So it's just to define exactly what the pedagogical model will require. And again, this is an institutional strategy, and this institutional strategy requires different profiles: the technical one, the technological one, the pedagogical one, and so on. But to start by defining which will be your pedagogical model, and then to start looking for which is the best technology at this moment. Because sometimes people buy technology and then, they don't see where to use that, and sometimes things are there without being used. So to think carefully about that, and thinking about the support you will need. I think this is important. Sorry. So who else? Eric, you raise your hand? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
If I may, yeah, I also wanted to start with thanking our colleagues for presenting their institutional inputs in reference to their SWOT analysis. Every presentation was very interesting, and special thanks to Ángeles, who provided valuable input. As for Gori State University, Ángeles, with regards to your question, we actually have this ad hoc working group established by the rector of the university. It is called Strategic Development Group. And we actually took this case and discussed this case within the working meeting of the Strategic Development Group. And yeah, the result that you saw, this SWOT analysis, was a product of the working product of that group. Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that it's an exercise of working together and having different perspectives for becoming to become
exactly.
in the end.
We have personnel there from including the faculties that we have, people, administrative personnel, and the different perspectives, especially from different faculties, are really important in that regard, and it actually helped us a lot. So
I agree with that. As it's always is working in a collaborative way and listening and exchanging ideas is the way we can grow up. Thank you, Jean-Baptiste. So it's been a pleasure, really. It's been a pleasure to be in contact and to listen to you and to analyze also from your perspective which are the challenges and the difficulties. Because also we all learn together. As I said, I don't know when, but I remember that I was saying that we were born in 1972. Well, I said a few minutes ago that also. And we started working in a different world. Now we are in a digital world, so it's another time in which to start developing digital education requires other things. We have shared with you our experience, but it's not just, let's say, the experience of UNED. Let's say it's more or less the experience of all the traditional distance education that were born or before or when the digital world started in 2000. So let's say that is more or less a common experience, although our university is, let's say, the largest now in Europe. But for us, it's a great opportunity also to share with all of you, and also to, when you come here, to see our current challenges, because we, of course, at any moment you always have challenges, and to work together. So well, have a rest now, and these days of holidays you may have, and have a very good quality seminar. Again, I think this is something very, very important to take into account from the very beginning, the quality assurance. And I hope to see you all in Madrid. And this May will be May, in a wonderful time of the year to come here to Spain. So thank you very much again to all of you for your participations, your work. Also extend that to all the members of your teams, and see you.